Jackie Ree, let's go inside her story.
Yeah, Skip, the timing of this interview this morning could not be more perfect. I'm talking to the voice of a new song called Fighters, and it's an anthem for those who are going through difficult times and need some encouragement, just like the victims of Hurricane Harvey. Well, the creator of this song is gospel artist Cheryl Fortune, who actually lives in Houston. She also made headlines a couple of years back when she was hospitalized as a victim of domestic violence at the hands of her husband, gospel great James Fortune. James admitted to the abuse and is undergoing counseling. I'm going inside her story with a woman who is a survivor and a fighter, Cheryl Fortune. Good morning, Cheryl.
Good morning, Jackie. How are you?
Really well. Want to check on you because you're in Houston, a city devastated, as I said, by Hurricane Harvey. How are you and your family and friends doing?
We are safe. Very minimal damage in my area. Unfortunate for some other people. Our city is still under recovery and going through a lot. We've got half of the city who is kind of operating and the other half that's still kind of flooded out. So it's going to be, a long journey ahead, but, Houston strong. So
yeah. Well, even though the song came out in January, it seems like your song Fighters could serve as encouragement for victims of this devastating storm. Tell us what the song is about.
Yeah, I just definitely wanted to create a song that was going to be filled with a message of hope, a message of faith, and a message of, just don't give up. Life throws crazy stuff, every single day. It's a part of life. And so I just kind of wanted to create something that would get people pumped up and just give them a life song, that would keep them encouraged if they're having a down moment, if they're having a down day, if they're going through something very challenging, may not have gone through what I have gone through, but whatever they've had to deal with or whatever they've had to go through, I wanted to create something that was going to be empowering and encouraging and that would help them, get back on their feet, lift up their spirits, and give them something to look forward to, hope.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of what you've gone through, you're a domestic violence survivor. There was one moment a couple of years back where you ended up in the hospital with broken bones and internal injuries. Do you remember, Cheryl, your lowest point dealing with domestic violence at the hands of your husband?
I do remember my lowest point. That had to be my breaking point at that moment.
In the hospital that day?
Yeah, that had to be my breaking point. Actually, 2 days even before that, I just really had cried out. I just couldn't take anymore, and not knowing that 2 days later that this was going to happen, but this was going to be the final straw. And so I'm so grateful that, I was able to get out because there's so many women who don't, who are not able to get out, who die at the hands of another person or who just don't make it out. And so that was really my breaking point. And I am so grateful that I made it out okay to be able to, kind of help someone else, to say that this is not acceptable and that you don't have to stay in this, you don't have to remain in this, and that, you'll be okay. But I would say that was my breaking point.
Yeah, I heard that there was kind of an angel that you met in the hospital that whispered something in your ear. Can you tell us about that?
In the form of a doctor, yeah. The crazy thing is she was a doctor that I saw, went to the emergency room almost 2 years prior to that. And she was the same doctor who treated me that night, and she just whispered, "Have you had enough? Time is up. Have you had enough?" And that was my moment because I had already heard God say something to me prior to that, that night. But when I got there, it was like it was a confirmation through the voice of an angel. Absolutely.
So many women, Cheryl, go through this, and a lot of times you can see signs early on, but you want to give someone that you're in love with or you're encouraged by the benefit of the doubt. Did the abuse begin for you, if not physical, in other ways before you were married?
Absolutely, it did. And I think as women, we try to, sometimes we can ignore. We evade the signs. We say, oh, okay, things are going to change.
Right.
And two, it is hard when you really, really love someone and you really genuinely believe in that person and you want to see someone do better. It's hard for you to immediately walk away because you're always holding on to this string of hope. Mm-hmm. But I always say that it has to be that person's decision to, they have to want to make that decision to make that change for themselves. And we have to realize that we can't make that change for them. So, yeah, I definitely saw a lot of signs and tried to even help, and at times it was rejected. And a lot of times it was rejected, but, that was nothing that I got to a point where I just couldn't control anymore, that person had to be willing to do that for themselves.
Now, he has talked very openly in interviews about being an abuser and admitted what he did, and he said that God is healing him. I know you all have children together. Are you all in touch, and have you forgiven him?
Yeah, I actually forgave him before an apology was even sent my way. And I knew that was something that I had to do because I needed to move on. I needed to move forward, and I needed healing for myself. I needed, to be able to be here as well for my children who also needed healing. So I knew that I had to do that. So before anything was ever really given to me, I had to do it. And I wanted to do it for me and for my children, and to be able to just kind of move forward in my life and be a better person as well for me, for my children.
Well, your song, Fighters, is out there encouraging so many people. So we appreciate you, and we're glad you're still here and still strong.
Absolutely. Thank you. I'm
so
grateful.
Thank you, Cheryl. Where can we find the song?
You can find the song. Actually, the song is going to be released on iTunes September the 15th, which is just in a few days. So very excited, but you can check it out on YouTube right now. You can also check out a really amazing video that is out for the song that is bringing awareness to domestic violence and sex trafficking as well.
Okay. Cheryl Fortune, thank you.
Thank you so much, Jackie.